Thank you, fellow Amazonians, fellow viewers. You're all welcome to this show today. Today we're gonna be looking at some areas in the referendum questions, and there are a lot of talk about that in the recent months. So I want to get into some issues that those people who are against the referendum are bringing up, so we can all see by ourselves and see how I'm gonna give my own opinion about it, because it's about opinion about things that can work. Okay, we have seen all the benefits of referendum. In my other video you saw, I answered a lot of those questions there about the benefits of referendum, how it can have that democratic process, and how the international community can support it. Okay, and now I'll base on two articles that I saw. Okay, the first article that I saw online was from this guy called Elangwe Joseph. Okay, Elangwe Joseph. He mentioned about 10 points or 12, 12 points about why he rejects anything that is referendum. So referendum is about the people. Okay, so I want us to get into it, because there are a lot of some leaders who said referendum shows that we are surrendering. Okay, and that we should keep fighting the war, we should keep fighting, okay, that we can win La Republic on the battlefield, and so on and so forth. Okay, then other arguments are also brought forth, but I want to focus on our brother comrade Elangwe Joseph's write-up, so that we all can listen and see how his 12 points that he brought up, that we can all discuss it. Okay, then later I'm going to also talk about Sako's audio that I listened about the referendum issue too that he brought up. Okay, number one, he said, is Somaliland not functioning as a country even without international recognition and without any UN resolution granting it independence, like the UN Resolution 1608 that granted independence to the former British Southern Cameroon? That is Comrade Elangwe's number one point. Why he said, I would like you propagandists of this surrender referendum, you are singing all over the place, to answer the following questions point by point during your referendum international town hall. Okay, the first, he talked about Somaliland. Is Somaliland not functioning? Okay, now our case with Somaliland, okay, is not the same and shouldn't be the same, because our own case was a case of that we had a referendum. Okay, that referendum was, even though it was fraudulent, it was still recognized that we had a referendum of that union. Okay, so we are looking at how we can make the international community know that this referendum was fraudulent. What the referendum we want now is not the same that that happened in 1972, because that in 1972 was organized by La Republic Aijo. Okay, and our people were not given the chance to decide by themselves. They were given to the same question of we and yes, and most of them did not understand the meaning of French, that we still means yes. Okay, and they went and they were answering the same thing like we. Okay, not knowing that they are we means yes. Okay, our brother, the number two question he asks, do you need a referendum to chase away a colonial occupier from your land? then why did the international community not organize a referendum to ask La République citizens if France should end its colonial occupation of La République after the adoption of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1349 of 1303 1959, granting independence to UN Category B territory of French Cameroon? So this is second argument is about we don't need referendum to chase away the occupier, okay? But at the end of the day, independence is different from a civil war, or is different from, okay, we are looking at the legal and the legal scope, the legal avenue that we can be granted independence as fast as possible. Because when all the crisis, most of the crisis, like Eritrea, Somaliland, like this same Somaliland, most of them fought for so many years, right? And what happened at the end? They were still given the opportunity to decide. So if a case like this is an option, then you say you don't want that option. You want to keep continuing fighting. Think of it. For the past 7 years, how many La République soldiers have died? Or how many of our people have died? Or how many of our people are suffering as we speak? How many so we are looking at ending this thing in a logical manner. Not that we are saying that we should end the our freedom fighters should end the crack. No, we are saying that this is how we can gain the support of the international community through a democratic process that everybody can align to. Okay, if you are talking of chasing them, with the resolutions that you are naming, or you talk about the UN Resolution 1349, granting the Category B territory of French Cameroon, the same Category B territory of course, our own case is that we have, whether we go through a negotiation process, whether we go through a referendum process, whether we go through a war process, we'll still win, no doubt. But which of them would take shorter? We will keep fighting for the next 20 years. We can still keep fighting for the next 20 years. Maybe the next president of La République will say, I don't want to fight you no more. Please go your separate ways. Okay? But some other aspect will say, no, let's keep fighting these people. These people have a lot of economic benefit to our land, La République. That's how they are going to be saying. So it's not like a quick fix something. We have to look at those arenas that we can have the support of the international community. When you look at those aspects that can bring in the international community, for the past 7 years, no one country, look at how many years have Ukraine fought. They see the international community coming to their support. Okay, we have to see what will make the international community win our support, win our trust. We want to make them know that we have a just cause, but we are also very, 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 very democratic. Okay, when we look at those aspects that makes referendum really good, okay, we have a lot of arguments that we are gonna bring. Okay, yes, they have to respect our boundaries at independence. That is why we have a case that we are a country. Of course, we are a country. Recognize, okay? We remember the Green Tree Accord that was signed by Biya and Obasanjo. we remember all those. We still remember how two flags and two maps were handed to Biya by the UN representatives. Yes, to tell you that these are two countries. But when it comes to a crisis, we are in a war. Okay, you cannot go to negotiation with preconditions. You understand? We open it to the floor. Okay, our people. Now you say you own our land. This is your opportunity to let the people decide for themselves, because these people came into this union with the mindset of equality, no aspect of mistreatment and everything. So allow these people to decide on their fate, right? That is what we are talking about. And his third point is, he said, the third point was, why did the international community not organize a referendum to end the colonial occupation of Namibia by South Africa, but instead recommended and supported a UN-mediated negotiation between SWAPO and South Africa that ended with South Africa simply pulling out its administration and security forces from Namibia? Good and fine, okay. There are certain aspects that we have to understand here, okay. What do we have at stake now is we shouldn't compare our crisis with other crises. When we do that, we miss opportunities that we can have or support that we can have. Our case should not be compared with like the case of Namibia or the case of this. No, we are looking at, okay, we had a referendum in 1972. We had also a plebiscite in 1961. When you look at these two, it tells you that we can say the people of Southern Cameroon voted. Let's not say it was rigged for the fact of analysis, but let's say the people of Southern Cameroon were asked to either join the Republic of Cameroon, or to join the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So when you were given two options, okay, and you know that the international community voted for your independence to join, okay, so there's no way the argument that some people can bring, like the federalists, or let's go back to the federal system and so on and so forth, that was before. But we have been for the past 60 years with these people. We have seen every negativity on them. We have seen all the corruption, the mistreatment, everything that you can say, exploitation of our resources, the depredation of all our infrastructures. So how can you live with such a person? We have a lot of arguments to bring forth, okay? And at the end of the day, as a sovereign country, what we have to put forth are those arguments leading towards a referendum, okay? How we have been victim of Bosch decolonization, how we have been, as a sovereign country, we have been submerged, okay, into these trusteeship agreement and all these United Nations, how our aspirations has been dashed. So these are arguments that we are going to bring towards a referendum. We can't bring this argument and hang them there. Then they'll say, okay, what do you want? La Republic too will not accept. We are looking at La Republic also. In negotiation, it's a give and take thing. You cannot just say, I want this, then the other party will accept. Those people who say they don't want referendum, you want to go to negotiation. What are the subject matters of the negotiation? What are you going to be talking about? You think La Republic will you just carry La Republic to negotiation, and La Republic will say, okay, I've heard you have lost a person. You recount all the histories. All the things of two equal status, state of two equal countries coming together. Those are things that can be, but La Republic will say, okay, yes, but you came in through a referendum for a united republic, right? How can you argue that? Because there was a referendum in 1972, even though it was not supposed to be organized by the whole territory. It was supposed to be organized for the Ambazonian people, because it was for them to decide if they want to quit the federal system that was there to join with the United Republic of Cameroon in a sense of a union, and how the two regions was separated between Northwest and Southwest by Aijo. So these are arguments that we can bring that will lead us to referendum. Okay. His fourth point is that when the international community recommended negotiation without precondition to address the root cause of a conflict, do you think the international community did not know that our problem does not need a referendum? The international community are countries, okay, and countries have interest too. Our case, going back to the root causes, is what is federation. Yes, the root cause is federation, and the aspect of our sovereignty, or the aspect of decolonization. But when you want to say the international community should get into those aspects, that referendum is like the best option because it gives the people power. Okay, and once the international community understand that the people are ready to have a democratic process, okay, a peaceful democratic process, they will prefer to go towards that direction than you saying that you want arms to keep fighting. All right, nobody will give you arms when they know that you have a good case and they are proposing something for you. Then you say, no, I want arms. Nobody. And how many more people do you want to kill? Okay, how many more people do you want to keep killing in the process? Okay, and the international community will say, okay, you go ahead with your war. South Sudan and Sudan, how many years did they fight? For more than 20 years, but yet they still went for a referendum. And those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. Do we want the support of the international community, or we want to keep fighting? And at the end of the day, many casualties on both sides, right? Who still win? Nobody will still win. At the end of the day, we'll still go to negotiation. Negotiation will still include referendum, no matter how this thing happens. Because the only way that can satisfy La Republique is referendum. And that's why La Republique has given an embargo to all their media not to even mention anything referendum, because that will be the last straw to them. That will just break the camel's back, by the international community just say, okay, you guys allow these people to have their referendum to decide if they want to still stay with you, or they want to have their own sovereignty, they want to go their separate ways. Okay, and that is where like probably don't want to go into. The number 5 point by our comrade Elangwe, he said, by the way, who is the international community is proposing to you a referendum? Nobody, not even La Republique. Okay, by the way, who in the international community is proposing you a referendum? Nobody, not even La Republique. We understand that the international community are countries, right? And okay, when this is what happened to people who just want to keep arguing, but it is very important for us to keep educating those people who don't understand the benefit of a referendum. Okay, yes, the international community is who. When the diplomatic world has their own way of doing things, especially when it comes to settling peace and all these little conflicts going around. All right, but our own case needs international settlement. The time I understand that the international community is intervening in our crisis is when they start giving sanctions, right? All those sanctions, what do they tell you? They are telling La Republic, go to negotiation. Remember, La Republic organized what they call, how do they call it? That thing that they call national dialogue. Grand national dialogue. And what happened to that grand national dialogue? Nothing happened there. Nothing happened to grand national dialogue. They came out with what? With other pre-prepared resolutions and stuff that they already prepared behind the scene and come and present. They gave us special status. So we told them that you don't go and this is an international crisis. That is why we are talking about international community now. La Republique, when the international community put pressure on you, La Republique cannot refuse referendum. There is no way La Republique, they don't have the capacity to refuse referendum. Because before referendum, there will be negotiation, right? And some of our people think that referendum will just come from nowhere. No. We know that this is a task that we have to put. There's a lot of work to be done before the international community can buy into this. Yes, we don't have, I can say all the international community buying this for now, but when we as a people put our documents together, put everything together as a one document, structured demands, everything, how we want the referendum to be run, an internationally organized referendum, put those things together and forward it to all the quarters. Do you think they will not read it? They will not go through it. They will not understand that, oh, these people have some, they are ready to negotiate on this peace settlement. The time that La Republique ran away from the Canada and the Swiss-led negotiation, didn't you see that is why these people are coming now and calling us for different type of meetings and so on? If, when they say a country is a mediator, the country is not the one doing the mediation. They assign it to maybe a university, or they can assign it to maybe an NGO, an international NGO or something like that. Okay? That is why when you hear that a country has something there are a lot of contractors that are taking those contracts to do those jobs for different countries. Okay? It must not be the country that is coming as a country. They can give the contract to people to run things in their various capacities that they can run. So you don't, when you say the international community who is proposing it, not even La Republique, that is a job of the people of Southern Cameroon. A referendum has always been the job of the people themselves, not a stranger, because the people we give us opportunity to vote. A referendum have been happening in all these countries without any problem. So why should it be a problem? In Canada, the Quebecers, they have referendum almost every time. They have had about 3. Okay, within Canada, how to decide to leave Canada or to remain in Canada as an autonomous region. Okay, but they are still part of Canada in that kind of confederation. But look at the other referendums. It is a people. That's why when the majority of people say, okay, we don't want to fight any war, we want to have our people to decide, we want to go into a vote, the international community to come and supervise it. That is what will happen. That's what will happen. Nobody will force you to stay with somebody that you don't want to stay, especially on on a country that has been sovereign. Yeah. The other point he made, why has the international community you are counting on not yet organized a referendum that was recommended for Western Sahara by the UN Security Council since 23 years ago? Okay, this is what we are talking about. Okay, the people have been fighting in Western Sahara for so long, right? But at the end of the day, what happened in that issue with the Western Sahara and all those other crises that happened? Okay, the issue of that, the Western Sahara, I think my brother thinks that the Western Sahara is a kind of the same like La Republic or Amazonia. The Western Sahara people have a better equipped army than Amazonia. Okay, the Western Saharans have a government in exile that is openly acknowledged and protected by Algeria. Okay, so when you talk about the Western Sahara, why did they organize like that? The Western Sahara have been asking, the Western Sahara interim government is living in Algeria under open Algerian protection. Okay, and it is quite different from what we have. Okay, the reason why the Western Sahara referendum has not held is because the geopolitics and interests, outplays that justice of the legal claim. So there's that issue that, but I don't think like we saw the US and some other countries don't have the interest in Amazonia as such. So and we have already seen the United States pushing behind the scene for the referendum. So why should we think that what the United States supports, other countries will not support? Okay, yes. Even the U.S. government under the former President Donald Trump had been pushing that aspect of referendum. Okay, yes, and that is why we saw a lot of political issues going on within that Western Sahara. Okay, so when our brother Elangwe is talking about that, he should understand how geopolitics affects those issues. But our case is totally different. Okay, the number 7 question he asks: the same international community you are counting on, USA, UK, EU, AU, Canada, Germany, and those direct third-party mediated negotiation to address the root cause of the problem, and went ahead to endorse the Switzerland international negotiation, which was sabotaged by you guys. Has the position of the international community changed, and when did that happen? So I want our brother to understand this negotiation that you are talking about. What are the requirements? What are because that's what we say, that you think that what are you going to be talking in the negotiation? La Republic has whole claim of you as your colonial master, as the occupier. You think the occupier leaves the land so easily when you just go to negotiation and sit? The international community know how to bring people. Okay, they have seen this crisis. They have understood that this is not about the image that La Republic painted, that this is a local crisis. That's why they're calling off the La Republic. They know that when you come to the table, that's why La Republic is running from Switzerland and also run from Canada. Once they sit on that table, it will be different, because something like a referendum will be the best option that will weaken La Republic. Because what are they going to be arguing about? How did these people come and join you? They join you through a plebiscite and through a referendum. So can you allow them to do the same? What? How are you going to be arguing? No, we don't want you to have a referendum. Oh no, we don't have, no. That is a given, and the United Nations will come and organize it. So there will be no argument of whether it's the root cause of the conflict, or all those things will not be necessary, because they only ask that these people join you. Yes, what the UN boundaries of independence were supposed to be respected. Yes. How did they join you? Through that means of referendum and a plebiscite. So why do you want a referendum? Because we are the victims of this Bosch decolonization process. Now, what do we need? We need a referendum for our people to decide on their own fate. Okay? This referendum is a democratic instrument that will help the annexationists to understand, okay, and also give us that argument to put forth with to the international community that we are a democratic people. We believe in a democracy. Okay, we believe in all these aspects that. So these things are not gonna be so easy. Like you think that we are saying that it will be so easy for the international community to support, or no. We are saying that as an option, referendum is one of the best, okay, that the international community can support, and that our own people back home will be happy to go and vote. So all the past referendums and referendas that has passed has been organized by the United Nations, right? That's why we say anything that is not organized by the United Nations, we are not going to be part of it. We're not going to be having a referendum like the one in 1972. No, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about the referendum that will be organized by the people of Ambazonia and supervised by the United Nations. Okay? That's an internationally organized, supervised referendum. Okay? That is what we are talking about. Now, let's talk about number 8. Mr. Elangwe say, are you guys not simply using the issue of referendum to cover up your surrender of Ambazonia into perpetual colonial occupation and enslavement under genocidal French, since they will have to wait for over 25 years like Western Sahara for a referendum that will never come because France and Algeria will block it, just like France and Morocco blocked the referendum for Western Sahara for the past 25 years. That is why we are saying that as an option, we are not leaving the other options. No, we are not. We are not leaving the other options out. All options are on the table. Okay, that is why you cannot just be fighting, then you don't have strategies to end the crisis. Okay, and we are making the referendum like something that can be acceptable by the people of La Republic also. Because the population, not the government. When we make a case that the people of La Republic will say, well, they should allow these people to make their own decision if they want to join. Okay, so we are making it like a peace agreement, something that this is something that we have seen that yes, we have been with you people for past 60 years. Now let's have this opportunity to decide, okay, on our own fate. I don't see anybody that will reject that. Okay, I don't see anybody, and most of the people of the Republic will also understand that. Okay, their children are dying. So when we are when we are going forward with this aggressive diplomatic offensive, we are working on all the area to explain to our people back home, explain to the refugees, explain to our prisoners of conscience, explain to the diasporan community, okay, explain to the international community how the importance of this will end this crisis. So it's not just easy, okay? It's a very long process. People think that is a short. No, we don't say that it's easy to have the referendum in the first place. It's not easy. It will be our own job to sensitize all these different avenues to come to understand that the people of Southern Cameroon have realized that this war is only killing people on both sides. They need something that can end this crisis. And this is the best option that we, the people of Southern Cameroon, have seen that it will end the crisis. The number 9. He said if the territorial dispute over Bakassi was resolved through justice and negotiation, not referendum, given that Bakassi is largely inhabited by Nigerian citizens, why do you referendum propagandists want the territorial dispute between Ambazonia and the Republic to be resolved through a referendum and not justice and negotiation, as was the case of Bakassi, if your intention is not to cover up your surrender into perpetual colonization and enslavement under colonial and genocidal French? Yes, I understand that he's talking about that. Okay, yeah, his concern is about how can we not end it like the Bakassi Peninsula crisis ended. It's not the same thing, right? La Republique and Nigeria went to that thing. What did they tell them? They tell them that they should respect their boundary at independence. That's why we're saying that, yes, we have our boundaries at independence, right? But we have lived together with these people. That's something we all should recognize this. We have had some intermarriages. We have had some inter-business relations. A lot of Ambazonians have built houses there and all those nuances. But at the end of the day, the people needs to be given a chance to decide for themselves. Okay? That is what we are talking about. And any people that anybody or any leader that does not recognize that the people are supreme, the people are the ones to decide on their fate, not anybody. We have to recognize that the people have the final say of their own destiny. Okay, any other thing other than that will be considered as colonization, occupation, or the submergent of a country that were both of equal status. Okay, one submerged the other. So it's not acceptable in the modern day political atmosphere. The other point that he raised: how will you stop La République and France from corrupting the UN and declaring the referendum in favor of La République in same manner France corrupted the UN during the Ivory Coast elections of 2010 to declare victory for Alassane Ouattara and remove Laurent Gbagbo from power? Yes, we will put into consideration those aspects of corruption and all those things, right? But that is why this will be organized. It will be one of the first election, the post-independent election that will be organized by Ambazonians themselves. It will not be organized by La République. It will be organized by and supervised by the United Nations. So when you talk of corruption and all those things, it will not work in the fact that the Eritrean referendum, South Sudan referendum, and the other referendum, we have not seen any illegalities, okay, or irregularities that was widespread So what we are saying here is that an internationally supervised referendum will be the best bet for the people of, okay? We are going to make those little proposals and suggestions about who to organize it, how those process for the modalities for the modalities for registration, what kind of ID card to use, and not Cameroon ID card though. So all those things will be done, you know, and our people abroad, the diaspora, have a big role to play by going back home, going back to Ambazonia to be part of that team to organize a very good referendum. Okay, so all these are things that we are going to put in place. So we cannot be afraid of corruption, afraid of those things when we are not putting our own efforts together and put those things together and became stronger, you know. Then the last point, finally, what will you do when France and La République will corrupt this same international community you are counting on to fraud the referendum and declare that our people have voted to remain enslaved? You know, he's still talking about the same corruption, how France will corrupt this and that. You know, will not really be procrastinating, you know, trying to look how we are first working on that aspect of the issues of making sure that we have a very genuine matter, a very genuine thing, and so that everybody can support it. Okay, so that was the point, and I just want to thank you guys. When we have all these backgrounds about referendum, okay, we look at real world historical examples of referendum that happen, and some people will say, oh, yes, most of these crises, had it been they knew, they wouldn't have fought for too long. Most of these crises, like the South Sudan was federated with North Sudan at the time of their own crisis, as provided in the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, and the referendum question was independent or stay with the system defined as a Comprehensive Peace Agreement. You see, those are how it's, you know, the next was the Eritrea organized referendum. The Eritrea organized theirs by themselves. Okay, they were a province in Ethiopia. Their question was independence, yes or no. You see, and they overwhelmingly accepted yes, we want independence. East Timor was an autonomous region also. We remember East Timor was also, at the time of the peace agreement, was an autonomous region, right? Their question was independence or stay as an autonomous region. Okay, so it depends on what kind of question we are as a people accepted and ask the international community, okay, this is our proposal, this is our suggestion, this is what we want. Okay, and the international community will come and support. Okay, so let's not first of all reject options without seeing the benefit of that option and how we can really use that option and do things. Okay, so thank you very much, and have a happy day today. God bless you all.